Hi everyone, welcome to the channel, Mandy's Not So Small Talk, and today I want to talk about something personal, how early childhood experiences, especially being groomed as a child and violated, can deeply affect your ability to receive abundance in life. And this includes love, money, gifts, and opportunities. So this topic might be shocking or uncomfortable for some, but I want to share it with honesty and compassion because it's about healing and reclaiming your power. The trauma that we experience in childhood, it isn't just about the events themselves. It's about the story that our minds and our bodies hold about those events, especially how we feel about ourselves because of what happened. So when shame and self-blame are kept secret, they create a heavy, dark energy that it gets stuck in our personal energetic field. And because everything, even our thoughts and our emotions, it's energy before it actually becomes form, this energy shapes how we experience our life. Science has shown that between the ages of 0 and 7, our brains are actually in a highly hypnotic state. We are incredibly impressionable, and the beliefs that we form during this time create deep energetic patterns that tend to follow us for a lot of our lives unless we create a pattern disruption and then create a reprogramming. So now imagine during this critical time, so a child is groomed and violated or simply given gifts that lead to violation. So the subconscious program created can make receiving feel unsafe. And receiving becomes confusing, tangled with feelings of violation, shame, and fear, even when the actual gift or love isn't actually harmful. So on top of that, many of us experience other forms of early scarcity that shape our relationships with abundance. For me, growing up in poverty added a whole other layer to this. So my family moved constantly and we lived on government assistance. Whatever little I had, toys, clothes, gifts, often got lost or left behind with each move or destroyed in some way. So I saw my parents struggle and I felt the weight of their pain and their stress. And I felt like I was a burden and any of my wants or needs were just a burden. The instability, it taught me something important. Even if it wasn't conscious, it taught me, like I didn't consciously say, oh, I'm going to, this is what I'm going to take in. But without knowing it, I received a lesson. And the lesson of that was that good things don't last. And if I did receive things, to be skeptical of it. So that programming wired my nervous system to expect loss whenever I received something. So even as an adult, when I got love or money or gifts, I felt anxious or suspicious. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. So that kind of scarcity loop, it doesn't just keep you in survival mode. It actually can repel abundance because the energy of fear and unworthiness speaks louder than desire. So these early wounds and programming, they often show up in our adult relationships and financial situations. So for me, anytime like that a man gave me something, especially money or gifts, I felt uneasy, like there was a secret or that I owed something in return. And sometimes the giving was tied to emotional abuse or sexual disrespect. So echoing those early feelings would come with shame and violation. Um, or also, I tended to not ask for much because I didn't want to be a burden. So a part of my healing was to actually start asking for things from, say, a partner that I'm with. That was actually me healing by saying, oh, I would really like flowers. That was a healed part of me. And that took a lot for me to be able to do, because there were so many years I accepted, well, I didn't even acknowledge that I had needs or that I wanted to receive those things. And then for many years I kept it secret, um, I pretended like I wasn't that kind of high maintenance girl, didn't want to be a burden or that high maintenance girl. But the healed version of me realized like I like flowers would actually absolutely make me happy, and I deserve to receive flowers. And I know that like I give so much love and attention, and I deserve also to receive that reciprocity back. I am so happy to be able to make my partner happy and to be able to give or do something for my partner that's going to bring joy to my partner. So of course, I also deserve to receive that back. And also I need to be able to have the communication to let my partner know what it is that I want to receive, right? Because I can't expect them to know it without me allowing my partner to know that. So that is a very healed sense of when you can acknowledge what it is that you do want to receive, and when you can let the other person know and then allow them the opportunity to provide that. Now, the other part of that is realizing if you have a partner that chooses not to want to engage in reciprocity, and then there you have some self-value work that to like you can say goodbye with love and walk towards someone who does want to have a reciprocal relationship with. And that is also takes work and deep healing. So I found myself in relationships where partners used my vulnerabilities, like my past and my body and my modeling work, as leverage to control or devalue me. One relationship in particular involved gift giving, and he turned it into manipulation and emotional abuse. He acted like he was doing me a favor, my kids a favor, by moving into my house that I owned. And he did work to eventually use it as leverage to try and force me to put his name on my mortgage. And when I refused, that's when he decided he wanted to end the relationship. And then I couldn't get him out of my house for 6 months. That was a lot of fun. Not really. But what I really realized is that this relationship dynamic was keeping me stuck in shame and secrecy. Because the biggest breakthrough for me came when I realized that as long as that I actually held shame and secrecy around my past, my modeling, my relationships, my wounds, I gave others power over me. He had an opportunity to have power and leverage over me. Because if I held a secret and the shame that he had, that he could use as a blackmailing tool, right? But the only reason he had that power was because I held the shame and the secret. If I decided to no longer hold that shame and that secret and to be okay with who I am and radical acceptance, he no longer had that power and control over me. He couldn't use that as leverage. Do you get it? So sometimes exactly where you don't want to go is a place that you really do need to go, because that is where the liberation comes from. To just think about it. If you are not worried about what others think about you, and understand that every mistake that you've made was really a mistake, and you're okay with that because you have learned and grown from that, and you don't hold shame, and you're okay with others knowing because you know that was a version of you that had to go through something in order to obtain the wisdom that it got. And you are not that person anymore, but you had to be that person to be this person. And you can love, you can hold such love and honor and compassion for who you are. And you can own all parts of yourself. And nobody can hold an attack on you, because you're not attacking yourself anymore. So the moment I started practicing radical acceptance, fully embracing where I was, who I was, what I had been through, that's how I took my power back. So I stopped fighting the energy that I was stuck in, and I began the process of healing and change. Because if I kept resisting or hiding, I would stay in the same energetic loop and attracting the same patterns, because the pattern has a job. That pattern's job is to say, hey, look at this. I'm making this the same. I'm making this familiar. It's not because everybody is like this and you like, you're in this Groundhog Day, because you need to look at it. You need to see why you're here. You need to heal something here. You need to own and love and accept a certain part of yourself that you've been denying, that you've been ashamed of. And when you do that, when you surrender to where you are and accept yourself fully, that's when you can actually get out of that loop. So how do you recognize if you have a fearful or blocked relationship to receiving? Ask yourself, do you feel guilty, anxious, or suspicious when someone offers you help, money, or gifts? Do you avoid asking for what you need because you fear being a burden? Do you sabotage financial or emotional opportunities just as they start to come in? Do you feel like you must earn, earn everything before you can receive it freely? And do you secretly believe that you don't deserve abundance or love? These feelings, they're not punishments, okay? They're signals. They're messages from your body, from your subconscious, and they're showing you where you need healing. So some tips to be able to heal your relationship to abundance. 1, practice radical self-acceptance. Begin by acknowledging and accepting your story without judgment. This removes shame and secrecy. And 2, notice your internal stories about money and receiving. You can journal, or you can talk about what you believe about abundance and worthiness. Create safe boundaries. So learn to say no to toxic patterns that replicate old wounds, and celebrate small acts of receiving. Allow yourself to say thank you and feel gratitude without guilt. And seek support if needed. Therapy, energy healing, coaching, any of those can help untangle deep subconscious programming. And remember that your past, it does not define your future. The energetic loops created by trauma and scarcity, they can be healed. And you can create new neural pathways. So by bringing awareness to your patterns and practicing radical acceptance, you can reclaim your power to receive abundance in money, in love, and life. So thank you so much for listening to my story. And if this video resonated, I invite you to like it. Give it a comment. Please put a heart emoji down there for me. Show me some love and energy. Share it with someone who might need to hear this message. We heal more when we heal together. And I'll see you, or you'll see me, in the next video. Thank you for watching.